Okay, so earlier I told you I had another way you can use beeswax without having to have a melting pot. And all you need is basically one standard household appliance, which is an iron. It does not have to be a craft iron. This one happens to be a craft iron by Clover. It doesn't have to be this. It can be the small tulip iron that you can get at Walmart for like 10 bucks, or it can be a regular household iron that you don't use, or iron you can get a regular standard iron at Walmart for $5. It doesn't matter, whatever you have. The only thing I will say is if you use this with this beeswax, do not use it on your clothes. Once you take it to the craft room, it's done. You can't. Don't take it back on clothes, okay? So that's going to be my only warning. Now, what I'm going to show you is how to do something like this. We're still going to collage and we're going to have fun, and I'm going to show you how to do this using beeswax and an iron. So let's get started. Okay, I'm going to use a piece of glossy cardstock, but you can use a tag or whatever you want. I've done it on tags, I've done it on chipboard, I've done it on glossy cardstock. Doesn't matter. That's what I like about this. Use what you have. You don't have to go out, you know, and buy all kinds of fancy stuff. I'm checking this to make sure that it's in frame, because y'all are way up here and I'm way down there. Okay, so we should be good. Now, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to put a couple of these pellets. Sometimes they'll stick together, so they'll be like back to back. Separate those so that they don't take so long to melt. So just separate the two pellets if they're stuck together. And just dump them out. You don't need a lot, just a few, you know, one just here and there, because when it melts it's gonna spread. Okay, so I just put a couple on there. My craft iron has temperature settings. I keep it on the medium setting, which says acrylic. If you have the little tulip one, it doesn't have settings, which is fine. Just be real careful, because again, beeswax is flammable, so you really want to keep your iron moving. Don't leave it stationary for long. That's the iron I used to have, so it does work. You can use that iron, okay? The household iron, just put it on a medium temperature, not something too hot, not something too cold. Just experiment with it. Start kind of low and then, you know, work your way up. So, okay, I have my pellets down on my glossy paper, and all I'm going to do is take my iron and set it down and just move it around. And you can already see my little pellets are melting on my paper. And so I'm just going to go over my glossy cardstock with the iron to melt that beeswax right on it and to cover the whole thing. Now when I go to apply my elements, this is going to kind of work like a glue for me to help hold everything in place as I add everything. I'm just going to pick this up and recenter it. Okay. And I'm doing this on the glossy side, not on the matte side, okay? So, I'm going to work with some pieces. I've got a piece of Vintage Dictionary. I have this Tim Holtz stamped ATC image. I have some gauze. You know, this is just medical gauze. I don't know where to get cheesecloth. Never seen it. Don't know where to buy it. Don't even know what it looks like. So I just use that. I have some tulle. I have a little piece of lace. I have a little piece of burlap. A couple other stamped images from Pink Paisley, Parisian Anthology. And then I have a little tissue butterfly, just to show you the different things and just kind of how they react. Okay, so I'm going to start by putting the dictionary page down, because I kind of want it first as my bottom layer, and I'm just going to put it on top of that and just kind of press it down onto that wax, and then I'm going to roll over it just to wet, you know, just to melt that wax that's under it a little bit. And you can see how that wax kind of attaches to it. But I will take a couple, just a couple of the pellets, put it on there and melt them down to help to coat the top layer, okay? And that newsprint is kind of coloring that beeswax, but that's okay, I don't care. Now the next I'm going to use my ATC stamped image, and I'll kind of roll this off. So I'm just going to sit that down, do it like there. It's okay if things overhang, you can step them off, but I'm just going to do the same thing and just press that down on there and onto that wax. Roll over it again, okay, to melt that wax underneath it to hold it stable for me. Gonna drop a couple pellets. You don't need a lot, just a couple, and just kind of put them, you know, all over, and make sure that there's not two. I mean, it's okay if there's two pellets together, but it just makes it take a little longer to melt down. And I always will flip mine over so the flat part is down, because they're kind of like half-back pearls or flat gems where they have they're rounded. Okay, so got that on there, and I'm just going to roll the iron over it and keep it moving. Remember, flammable wax. And I'm just going to move that. Your image slides around like that came off. Just going to stick it back down there. Pull it up. When that wax dries, it'll stay more like glue. Now I'm going to add a piece of this gauze, and I'm just going to stick it here. Well, this is a double layer. So I'm just going to stick it in here. Press it down. Put a couple beads. And iron it down. And so you just keep doing this and building whatever layers you want. I'm going to put this piece of tulle across here, iron it down. There's some wax on my craft mat too, so I'm going to pick up that wax to help me as well. So with this, I'll probably just need like 2, okay, so we'll do 3 pieces. Iron that down, keep it moving. See how fast it melts, and it goes right up inside that tulle. We'll take this piece of lace, and I'm going to put it down here and just kind of stretch it out a little bit, smush it down. Stick the iron on top of it to melt that underside. Drop those couple of pellets on there. And as you build the layers, you're not going to need to put as many pellets, because there's going to be layers that are going to remelt as you go through. So just keep adding your little wax layers. Here's a little piece of burlap. So we're going to put it, I think, right here. Now burlap, it takes a little more to get that to go through, so I am going to put a couple under it that I'm going to lay the burlap on top, and then I'm going to put a couple, I put 2 under it and 3 over it, and I'm just going to melt those through, and that'll help to hold that burlap down because it is thicker. So that's going to hold that down pretty good. Just iron it through. And that should hold pretty good once it dries. Okay. Now I have this pretty butterfly. So we'll put it here. Well, we'll do it here. So again, just go over it to activate that wax underneath it and to help it stick as you begin. Put a couple of pellets on there. Melt them down. And you see how quick and easy this is. I mean, it really doesn't take much. I like this music note too. Let's see, where should we put it? Well, we'll wait on that one. I'm going to put this butterfly up here. So I'm just going to lay that there. And I want him to go up a little more. So I'm just going to press him down, iron over him to get him started. And tissue works really, really good. That wax really goes through that tissue really, really good. And you can get some awesome tissues and really cool napkins and stuff. So you can get some really awesome effects. So let me melt that down. I think I'm going to put this here. And I use these pieces, you know, just for some texture, not for, you know, anything special, just for some texture. And beeswax dries so fast. I mean, you think UT dries fast? You ain't seen nothing. I think this burlap needs a couple more pieces right in these little fringes, just to make sure that they behave and stay down. I'm going to peel it up, just look over it. This corner down here really doesn't even really have a whole lot of wax. Neither does this corner or this area, and then these pieces right in here, those need to be melted some more. So I'm going to stick my iron there for another minute to melt those down a little bit more. This one right in here wants to not play nice. There we go. Okay, so for these little areas, I'm just going to take some more of this gauze. I'm going to stick it in here. A couple more pellets. Push that wax down in there. I'm going to put this piece over that butterfly just for texture. Couple pieces. I think we're good. Now all I'm going to do hold on, let me stick another piece right here. Because as soon as I touched that, that kind of lifted up. So let me get some wax right in here. Yeah. I think I was a little too rough on that piece. It tore. And you press it back down in there. Okay, okay. This piece doesn't want to do. So let me just grab another one and do that part over. Not a problem. Cheap gauze. You get like 12 in a box for $1. Oh. It's late, y'all. It's like 1:30 here. And I was up really, really early because I actually had some spinal injections done this morning into my tailbone area, which was not fun. But they'll be worth it. Tomorrow I'll be really sore. Today I just had to kind of take it easy. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is once this dries, which pretty much it's dry, I'm just going to get this wax off my craft iron. You see it's really easy to come off. I'm going to flip it over to the back and I'm going to trim these edges. Now you don't have to. This is going to depend on, you know, what you're putting it on. If you're putting it on, you know, a larger card, you can leave that overhang. That would be cool. Oh, don't cut the paper, Dodo Nancy. Yeah, I'm totally cutting that paper. Okay. Maybe I should have went to bed. Anyway. So I just trim those edges. Throw that out. And you have a pretty cool textured background. Now, I have another layer that we're going to add to this, but I'm going to save that one for tomorrow's video. So we have this one that I did earlier and this one that we just did. So I'm going to do another part to show you how to add another layer on top of this to add another really cool effect. But I'm going to make you wait until tomorrow. I'm going to do one technique on one of them and another technique on the other. So make sure that you come back to check out